The Night Bride of Pattaya, Chapter 1, First Encounter. Pattaya greeted me the way it always greets lonely, lost men, with thick, tropical air saturated with the smell of cheap rum, fried insects, and something else, something sickly sweet, almost rotten. I came here to forget the office, the divorce, the debts, the empty apartment. All of it stayed back my home, beneath the gray November sky. Here, there was eternal celebration. The sea. The smiles of girls selling themselves for a couple thousand baht. Or maybe not themselves, exactly. We met at a bar on Walking Street. She sat in the corner at a table with peeling red upholstery, sipping something green, barely touching the glass with her fingers. Long black hair, pale skin, eyes that reflected neon signs but held none of their fire. "You're not from here," she said before I could even open my mouth. Her name was Lynn, or at least that's what she told me. Her voice was strange, as if not one, but several voices overlapped. "And you?" I asked, taking a swig of beer. "I'm local." She smiled, and at that moment, the lights flickered. When they came back, I noticed her pupils, narrow, like a cat's. But I was already drunk. Or maybe I imagined it. Chapter 2. Strange Habits. Lynn wasn't like other Thai girls. She didn't ask for money, didn't rush me to bed, didn't flirt. Instead, she took me to strange places, abandoned temples, empty markets, beaches where no one else went. "Why is it so quiet here?" I asked once as we walked along a deserted stretch of Jomtien. "Because they know," she replied without looking at me. "Who?" "Those who have lived here a long time." She ate only fruit and some kind of dried, dark red meat she bought from an old woman in the alley behind our guest house. "What is this?" I asked once. "Just food," Lynn said. But when I tried a piece, my head spun instantly, and my mouth filled with the taste of copper. But the strangest things happened at night. Chapter 3. Nightly Disappearances. The first time, I woke up to the sound of the door creaking. Lynn stood in the doorway, already dressed, in a black dress I'd never seen before. "Where are you going?" I whispered, rubbing my eyes. "Work," she replied, smiling in a way that made my spine turn to ice. In the morning, she returned. Sand clung to her hair. Something dark was under her nails, and she clutched a wad of Thai baht in her hand. "Where were you?" "Working." She went to sleep without washing off the strange dark stains on her skin. The next night, I tried to follow her. Chapter 4. Tracks in the Dark. Lynn walked fast, barely touching the ground. I struggled to keep up, stumbling over cobblestones and trash in the alleys. She stopped at the old Wat Phra Yai temple. I hid behind a wall and watched as she approached 3 drunk tourists. They laughed, shouted something at her. Then the lights went out. For a second, maybe 2. When they came back, the tourists were gone, and Lynn was on her knees, eating something. I turned on my phone's flashlight, and the beam revealed tracks in the sand. Not footprints, something long, winding, like something, or someone, being dragged. Chapter 5. The Photograph. On the 3rd day, I found an old photograph in her bag. Yellowed, worn. It was Lynn. Same smile, same eyes. But the photo, judging by the clothes, was taken 40 years ago. "That's not me," she said when I showed it to her. That's my mother. But I knew she was lying, because on the back it read, Lynn, 1982, beware the moonlit nights. Now, Chapter 6, the last night. That night, I didn't sleep. Lynn left again, and I sat by the window, waiting. Just before dawn, there was a knock at the door. Not her light footsteps, but heavy, wet thuds, like something being dragged across the floor. I didn't open it. In the morning, Lynn didn't return, but under the door was a stack of money, tied with a strand of black hair. And the next day, the local papers reported 3 tourists found on the beach. Their faces were gone. So were their wallets. Epilogue. Life flew out the next day. But sometimes, when I wake up at night, I swear I hear whispering outside my window. You're not from here. And I know she's still looking for me.